It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back to another Up North Journal podcast, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin. You okay, Danny?
Yes.
You sound like I felt today.
What a weekend. It started out slow, but, man, we kicked it into high gear this weekend, and, man,
yeah,
it was kind of nice.
For you, maybe.
Yeah, well,
I woke up with...
you woke up with a little...
It looked like a murder scene, man.
Well, that's what happens when you have a bloody nose at the middle of the night.
Man, I didn't even know what was going on.
You did not wake up during your bloody nose?
No, there's a spot on the pillow probably about this big around.
Really?
Yeah. For those of you
Holy
watching,
crap.
Big around is my head. For those of you who are listening on the podcast.
Wow.
So.
I bet you that did...
I woke up and looked down, I'm like, whoa.
I'd have looked for a horse's head in your bed.
Yeah, I was like, what did my wife do? Did she stab me? I'm kind of like feeling
there you
around,
go.
making sure she didn't cut my throat or something, or stab me. So,
But yeah, no, we Saturday morning was over here bright and early. We live made some summer sausage, the rest of the deer.
Yeah.
Which we've got sitting right there.
Yep, I've already sampled.
And you said it was pretty good.
I sampled it right out of the smoker. So
I do that every time, and that is good.
Before we get into this, let's talk a little bit about that whole thing that we did. And
yeah, it was.
We live streamed it.
We live streamed it. It was something. You got a smoker last year, towards the end of the year, and finally we broke it out. And I had a recipe to do some summer sausage. I do it in the oven because I don't have a smoker. But here we could do it in a smoker legitimately.
Right.
So we just kind of rolled out all the ingredients, put them all together. We used the Cabela's mixer and the Lem stuffer, and I haven't tasted it yet, but it took us we did 7.5 pounds, and it took us basically about an hour of prep time to get it ready to go in the smoker.
From the refrigerator to the smoker.
Yeah, that's about how.
Now, we didn't grind it, though.
Right, and I think I'm thinking about that next time. You think maybe when we grind it, would it be better to grind it and mix it and let it sit together, or grind it, mix it, and stuff it right away? That was one of the... I was thinking about that. I was like...
Actually, after you and I had talked and I told you the 3 things I kind of found out.
Yes.
That was actually the 4th thing I found out that I forgot to tell you. Is actually, the guys who grind the meat, mix everything up, they'll stuff it, and then they let it set in the refrigerator overnight.
Okay, so they do. So that's kind of letting everything just gel together kind of thing.
Yep, let those salts and seasonings start to work into the meat a little bit and actually start to do the preserving.
Right,
so
exactly.
To speak, so.
And that's one of the things, and... basically, like I said on the live feed yesterday, you start with a basic recipe, and then you just the next time you do something, we'll add something, or we'll
add a little something different.
Right, and you can try different things that just and like we talked about earlier, also the recipe I have calls for 3 pounds, so we're not. It's not a 5 pound, a 10 pound, or a 20 or 25. When you buy a mix, and it says, well, you got to have 25 pounds of meat.
Right.
And it's like, okay, so how do I divvy that up?
Right. Well, and that's the thing you and I had talked about. When the recipe you have calls for 3 pounds, you can actually go 3, 6, 9, 12.
And that's
whatever.
what I do. It's usually 9 or 12. It's like, okay, I'll do 12 pounds.
Yeah. So that way, your ratio of pork to venison. Typically, people go 20 to 25%. So it gives you a little bit of fudge room, and that way you can prepare. It's like, okay, I've got 10 pounds of meat. That means I'm going to have 25% or 12% or 10%. I'm going to need roughly a pound, 1.2 pounds, or 2 pounds. So if you add 2 pounds to it, to get to that 25% marker close to it, that puts you at 12.
Right.
So you can kind of tailor that mix that you have
exactly
to what you're doing versus, like you said, going and buying a 5, a 10, or a 20 pound package.
Exactly, and that's what most of the packages are. They're like for 5 or 10, 15, or
kind of locks you in a little bit bigger.
And that's what I kind of like this recipe. And then I like like we talked about, next time maybe adding red pepper flakes or adding cayenne or jalapeno, or it gives us and we could mix it up. Maybe when we get into the summertime, we'll do like a summertime jalapeno.
Right on.
So, but the one thing I'm curious about is how the cheese did.
Cheese did great. That's the one thing I did notice right away. It's the first thing I looked at when I cut that first stick open and looked at it. I was like, okay, cheese is good. It's cool.
And you had a picture of it, and I was excited. I'm like, it worked.
Yep.
Because the first time I did it without the cheese,
Yeah.
the over-the-counter cheese, yeah, it was a gooey mess.
Made it a little bit of a mess.
Oh, it did. It was like, oh boy, here we go. But no, so you prepped the smoker before I got here. It was fishing when I got here.
Yeah.
And I think that worked really well. It just you read, I think, something about preheating it next time, and
Yeah, actually, while it was cooking, I'm like, okay, we're not the first guys to ever do this. So, I kind of went through and was like, I want to pick other people's brains, so to speak, and see what kind of videos they did and what they did and what they found out. And as we've grown along, the things I found out about it was they kind of staggered their temperatures. The first thing I found out was one guy, he said he has really good luck with preheating, getting up to about 100 degrees, putting the sticks in once it reaches that 100-degree mark, and with no smoke, and letting them hang for an hour. And he said that takes and dries the casings.
Okay.
Okay, it gets the moisture out. Because remember, we pre-soak those.
yeah, you pre-soak them.
So you can stuff them. So it dries the casings, forms them around the meat. And then he stepped up to about 140 degrees for the next hour and put the chips in. So he started that smoking process. And he said once that casing dries a little bit and forms to the meat, he said that will actually take smoke easier.
Oh,
the smoke will get into it a little easier. So that was his reason for doing that. And then the last part of the process, until it's finished, he stepped it up to about 180, 190 degrees.
Okay, so he never went over 200.
No, remember I set it for 225.
You said it 220, and to me
Yeah.
that's okay, because when I do it in the oven, I do it at a much higher temperature.
Yeah. So
it
they were
kinda-
saying that was part of the reason that the grease was rendering out of the meat as you get it too hot. And they said you
Right.
should never be hot enough for that grease to actually melt and render out of the meat. So that's the reason he kept it low. But because it still gets up to that 160 magical temperature.
Yep.
So
We don't ever want to go below 160.
yeah. And when I pulled these out, it was 162.
There you go.
Had the meat thermometer inside one of the sticks.
And that worked out really good.
Yeah, you walk up, hit the button, boom, it tells you that instantly what the temperature is on the meat. So I checked it 3 or 4 times as it's going along, and watched it increase up to 162, and boom, turned it off. The thing I did though is I let it set in there afterwards, thinking, okay, we'll just let it continue to do its thing. And actually, that's a no-no as well. Everybody says take it out of the smoker immediately once you get to that temperature and put it in an ice cold bath, like ice cubes and water in the sink for 10 minutes. And it draws that heat out, it stops the cooking process, and makes sure that temperature doesn't still tend to climb above that 162.
I'm gonna go out, I think, and get one of those because I do it in the oven. I'm gonna get one of those temperature gauges that I can put in and then have it on the outside of the oven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I seen a guy that did that. Had a remote reader for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, had the probe, and it was inside the smoker, and then he had a digital controller that he was watching it with. Yeah.
Oh, because I think I might want to try another batch in the oven and kind of do it kind of like what you did, and just kind of watch the temperature and see it come up just above that 160, and then pull it out and do the ice bath thing. That's kind of an interesting.
Yeah. So they said that keeps it from drying out because the fat never renders down to the grease, which, that's one of the things that I did notice when I cut into the sticks that we did is there was a little bit of grease in there. Not a lot, but a little.
Yeah, there's going to be some because there's, the fat in there.
And, and the dryness. The other thing that we didn't do, and you were questioning whether we should or shouldn't, was putting the water in when we mixed it, the ingredients. Your recipe called for a 1/4 cup of cold water.
Yeah, see, when I do it in the oven, I never used it, and it still came out good. So
right.
I was like,
it tastes good. It tastes good. But if you think about like a tube of bologna that you get at the deli, and you cut it in, and how it's all solid and it's kind of soft and it's all like solid. And when you cut into this, it's not quite as solid.
Have you cut into it today?
No, nope. That's a fresh stick.
Okay, so that's a fresh stick. Yeah,
I eat the little baby stick that we had left.
Okay, and this is a fresh stick that's been in the refrigerator overnight.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, what do you think?
I'm sitting here dying hungry here, pal.
Cut that bad boy. Cut it open.
First thing I want to do is I want to
smell good.
Oh, it does. That was one thing that when those chips got going, in the beginning. Oh,
yeah, we use mesquite.
Oh, it does smell good.
Yep. Now, could you smell that when you walked in the house tonight?
No.
I brought the smoker back in the house after it cooled down because I got to wash it and clean it. It's all sealed up, but it's sitting by the back door.
I didn't smell a thing.
Okay. I just wondered.
All right, I'm going right for the middle.
All right. He's cutting it open here, folks. For those of you watching on the live stream. Now, see, that looks a lot better. That looks like what I thought it should look like.
Okay, see.
Because it has been in the refrigerator and cooled down.
Correct. And I was waiting for you because I saw your video. Mm-hmm. And this is exactly how it looks.
Here, I'm going to hold it up here on the live stream so you guys can see it there. I don't know. I'm waiting for it to change, actually, on the monitor here. There you go. Yep, you can see it now. So,
but, yeah, it will look, after it cools down, it looks exactly like it's supposed to.
Okay.
When you have it warm like that.
It's got that rough texture to it.
But, man, is it good warm.
Go ahead. Cut a couple hunks up there, man. We got to try this all out now. But see, there's a few little air pockets in it here and there.
Yeah, and that's just...
And that's what they're talking about as far as being solid. Yeah, I think this is one that you actually stuffed, tell you the truth.
Oh, sure. Blame me. All right, here we go. See, what I like about it is the cheese.
Mm-hmm. Can you taste the smoke? Just a little bit.
Oh.
Good? Mm-hmm. Well, guys, sorry we're going to chew in your ear here. They're listening to it on the podcast. So...
I tell you what.
But it's pretty good.
The cheese did what it's supposed to do.
Yep, stayed intact. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Winner?
I think it is. I think, you know what? And this is pepper jack, which being cut up pretty finely to get the pepper out of the jack is going to be kind of tough. It's going to be hit and miss because it's...
Right.
So, and I don't know. For me, I'm not a really hot food kind of guy, so this is good. But for, like you said, adding some cayenne... Mm-hmm. Sure, why not? Or jalapenos.
A little red pepper flake.
Yep. I've done red pepper flake. Mm-hmm. It ends up being good. And with the mixer, I think it works out good. Oh, man.
Pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all. All in all, with what we did and what I read or watched online afterwards while it was cooking. Actually, I watched that after I pulled it out, to tell you the truth, because otherwise I would have known to put it in an ice bath, and I didn't. So
right, exactly.
Actually, I was watching that late last night. But all in all, I'm very pleased with the way our very first sausage turned out. I wouldn't be ashamed to put this on a table next weekend for a Super Bowl party and offer it to anybody.
And that's one of the things I learned doing this, that when I do it in the oven, it looks exactly like this. Mm-hmm. A little bit different. I wish I had a stick of mine to compare the smokiness flavor, because you can tell a little bit. I think there might be a difference as opposed to a liquid smoke, as opposed to a legitimate smoker.
Okay. Better, worse, different?
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm trying to think, and it's been a while since I've had the other one with the liquid smoke. If you can taste the smoke more throughout the meat. Mm-hmm. So, all in all, I think next Super Bowl Sunday you're going to be having this in front of the TV watching the game.
Absolutely. Well, you too. You got something to take home. So
that's what I'm hoping.
So yeah, and then we got 3 sticks with no cheese in it.
No cheese, and you know what? I'm excited. It worked.
So
and we live fed it to everybody, and I think it went well.
Yeah. So there's the videos out there on our Facebook page. You guys go over and check it out. You know, and
now we're going to start with a couple other recipes.
Yeah. Well, and then the next one we're going to grind.
Yep.
I've got my grinder. We've got to get that set up, and then I've got to figure out how much deer I actually want to grind this year, or take out of the freezer and grind, as well as put together and process.
Right. So. Exactly. And that's one of the things. I'm almost thinking maybe we should take a Saturday morning and you figure out how much you want to grind and have a grinding morning.
Yeah. Well, you
grind it up and seal it back up and.
See, we had nine places we could hang in that, correct?
Yes.
9. So we put 7 in there, and then we had one extra little quarter stick or half stick.
Oh, and that's another thing I wanted. We were talking about these are 12-inch long sticks, and that's probably pretty close to the
maximum length.
Because I'm trying to think what the next length is, but I think it's
20.
Big. Is 20.
A lot of people online are doing 20 by 2 inches.
2 by 20s?
Yeah, 2 or 2.5 inch tubes.
Yeah, we could
20
go.
Inch long.
I could go 2 inch by 12, but other than that, I don't think we'd be able to hang them then.
I think that's just right because those fit on a cracker.
Exactly. That's why I like that. The smaller one, the bigger one, the 2 is a little bit too big.
Whether it be a square or round cracker, I think that's the right size.
And that's why it's a good size, I think. And plus, now looking at your smoker, they fit perfectly in there.
Right. And that's what size again?
That's a 1.5 by 12.
1.5. Okay.
So it's like, okay. So trial and error, we're going to get there.
Right on.
And then we can try. I've tried hickory once.
Uh-huh.
was not a fan of it. That's why I stick with the mesquite.
Well, the cooking guide that I got with the smoker was talking about the different types of wood to use with different meats.
Right.
And they suggested with beef. They didn't say anything about venison, but beef, and that's, I'm thinking
That's
pretty
pretty
close. Mesquite, oak, and apple. So
Apple.
Yeah, apple. And I found apple chunks, but not chips.
Okay, I got a question for you.
So wouldn't fit in the smoker. Go ahead.
Your opinion of... Okay, so we got mesquite.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the turnaround time would be to... Okay, let's do a batch in mesquite, but we've made enough to do another batch, but we wanted to change the wood. Could we do it right away after we're done, or do you have to let the smoker smoke out, I guess?
I don't know. When I stopped, this process took 3 hours and 45 minutes to smoke. And towards the end, I haven't looked into the wood burning tray, the chip tray,
okay,
to see if it all rendered or burnt down or not. But there was not a lot of smoke coming out.
No, right at first there was, but then as it went, it just kind of...
And I shut the vent, so it wasn't all coming out.
Right, it wasn't a heavy smoke, which kind of reflects in this, because it says, we read if you have too much smoke, it's like eating a...
creosote log.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm very happy. I'm glad everything went smoothly. You've eaten some, not gotten sick, so we got above the 160. We're good.
Oh, so I see how you do it. Let the fat guy eat it and see if he kills over before you try it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. All right.
But no, I hope you're happy. I'm ecstatic.
Just like the fat guy on the ice. Put me out there first.
You got it. But no, I'm just happy. I'm glad you're happy, because I'm glad and happy it turned out. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like for me. Mm-hmm. And all we're missing is some crackers.
I can get some in the break if you'd like.
So, no, I think we'll just stick with the crackers are carbs. We'll just stick with the meat.
All right, we're running over just a little bit, so if you
That's
want
all right.
to cut another hunk off, go ahead. We're going to let the live stream go, though, until we get started here with our next segment. So,
all right, I'm going to be cutting.
We're going to step outside real quick. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll see if Danny's done eating or if we're going to continue. We got some other stuff to talk about. We'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet. I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back. We're still eating.
We're still eating, and you know what? There's nothing better than having the smell on your fingers.
Mm-hmm. Good summer sausage.
Speaking of that, you gotta let me know, Charles, if you've tried it yet. I sent you the recipe. I don't know if you tried it. If you did, let me know how it went.
Not yet. He actually chimed in late yesterday on our live stream after we got done.
Ah, okay.
So
I'm just waiting to hear from him how it went. But you found the grenade.
I did. For those of you who are watching, this is a product. Excuse me here.
He's chewing.
This
is a product that... Okay, so this has been put out
Fourth Arrow Archery.
Fourth Arrow Archery.
This is called the Wind Scent Grenade. And basically, we talked about... Did we talk about this on the show? It's a wind checker. It's a scent dispenser.
It's a wind checker, scent dispenser, all in the form of a grenade.
Yeah, so it's basically, for those of you who are watching on the live stream, this little stick, scent stick.
Almost looks like a e-cigarette type.
Yeah, and that's kind of the concept, I guess, kind of. And here's the dispense
and all that
container.
is it just takes in the air, right?
Yep, it blows air through this stick, and
And you can tell, if you can see it,
There we go.
if you can see it in the monitor, you can tell there's no wind in here.
Right, it's going straight up. I don't know if you can see that.
But yeah, and this is something new out of the market. Oh, that's a good one.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Perfectly no wind.
There you
But
go.
look at that. We're checking the wind in the cabin. It's new on the market. I did see this at another booth. They had that.
Yep.
So it's just this one's by Fourth Arrow. Mm-hmm. Now this is the handheld grenade model, but they also have the remote control model.
Yep.
And then they got another model that they were talking about that you can use on the back of your patio, or if you're camping, or
On your boat.
and you can do citronella in it.
Yep.
And that way it's a mosquito getter.
Just make sure you don't use some kind of buck lure in there, like dough and heat, and then squirt it in your face or something.
Yeah, been there. It doesn't smell the doe estrus and the buck doesn't smell as nice as
The apple
citronella
or
citronella.
apple. Yeah.
They had the video of the bear trying to eat it because it was apple.
The donut.
Oh, the donut shop.
Yeah, it was donut shop.
So yeah, it was.
But
yeah,
on that, I thought I'd get that out.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of a neat little thing. You know what? And that is so simple, just to put in your pocket, and you can be out there. And one thing we're worried about bow hunting is checking your wind.
Checking your wind, and actually, being quiet. I mean, you couldn't hear this thing going off.
No.
So it's very easy to use. You can hang it around your neck. You can have it on your backpack, whatever, attached, and you just reach over there and grab it and just give it a little squeeze.
And I was gonna. They were pretty busy today when I saw them.
Oh, they were there at the show?
Yeah, so I didn't get to stop and talk to him. I saw Mark there, and he was busy talking. They're all talking, so it was a busy show. But yeah, it's one of those things, a little added, and it's a dual purpose. Checks your wind. You kind of disperse the scent of choice.
Yep, absolutely. So,
but yeah, it's just
cool little device. And actually, we shot some video of it at ATA, and we'll be having those things start to pop here real soon.
Yep, exactly.
So keep your eyes out for them.
Excited for those videos to come
So
out.
you, we did the sausage yesterday. Got done with that, or actually, while that was cooking, you took off, and you made a road trip over to the west side of the state.
Yeah, you know what? I was talking with the wife, and I said, "Hey, you wanna go for a little road trip?" Sure, why not? It's nice to have older kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure, and then we headed off to. First stop was Kalamazoo.
Okay.
In the 2017 Traditional Hunters Expo.
I thought maybe you went over that way, next city over there, maybe to get some cornflakes or something.
Battle Creek?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Zipped by it.
Okay.
Went saw Randy and David Boggs.
Okay.
They were at the Traditional Hunters Expo. I had never been there.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know what? First time for everything.
Go check it out.
So hopped in the car, and 2 hours later, I was doing a live feed with Randy Duncan.
I did see that.
You saw that. According to Randy Duncan, that is the biggest traditional archery get-together. It was told to me it was like the ATA of
recurves and longbows.
Recurves and longbows.
Okay.
Which, you know what? There was a bunch of recurves and longbows. To me, the cool factor was watching the wood shafts, and one of the guys he was a crester.
Okay.
And he dipped the whole arrow one color, and then he dipped the fletching end another color, and then he crested them with different colors.
Excuse me.
Bless you. But that was cool. I tell you what, they had a 3D shoot you could get to. They had one kind of like a professional one that was for money.
Okay.
I wasn't there yet, or it was already over by the time I got there.
Gotcha.
And then it was an open 3D shoot. But they had several areas that were basically just open for shooting. And I found out that basically all the guys that were selling bows, hey, I want to try this one out. Mm-hmm. Sure. Here's the bow. Here's a couple arrows. Mm-hmm. And then you walked over to the shooting area and you got to try it out.
Okay.
It's kind of like a shooting lane, right? So
kind of like what we did at ATA.
Absolutely.
Had all the new bows there. You can walk over to the shooting lane, try them out.
And the difference there, as opposed to ATA, is you can actually buy the stuff.
Okay.
So you could buy from the point of the arrow to the nock of the arrow.
Okay.
And in between. And you could buy bows, strings, socks for the bow.
Quivers.
Everything. There was a guy there making the quivers, the leather quivers. Okay. He was making them right there for the show.
Was anybody making traditional points, like stone points, for like longbows?
I think there was one guy there doing that. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought I saw a booth that had them in there.
Okay.
A little flint napping.
Yeah. I actually got to see some of that when I was down at Indiana last year for Backwater Legacies. One of David Boggs' friends does that.
And speaking of that, none other than Randy was helping out David Boggs himself.
Okay.
So I've seen David Boggs 2 weekends in a row. I'm starting to get worried. But they said they were having a good show. So I stopped, talked with them. Then we went and ventured around, found David Meekoff and Drew Youngdyke.
David Meekoff, or Jason Meekoff, is from Backcountry Hunters and Anglers.
Yep, and he had his crew there. Drew was there with the guys and stopped and talked to them. They were doing actually really well with their memberships, and kind of talking to him a little bit. They've kind of almost doubled in size. So
in Michigan or the overall order?
Their chapter.
Their chapter, okay.
So they're doing really well. You know what? There's some, and I don't remember what the bill number is right now, but there's a bill out there that they're thinking about selling off some more public land.
Yeah, there's a big bill going before Congress.
Yep.
And if you guys just get on Facebook and do public land sell-off or something like that, and
you'll
search
find it.
It'll pop up. Basically, they're wanting to sell it to the states. And
right.
The thing that we need to remember, I mean, there's two sides of this coin, and I've listened to both arguments, but ultimately, federal land is owned by everyone. If you're a citizen of the United States, that land is, we all co-own it. It's all our land to use.
We own public land.
Yeah, there you go. We own. I seen a shirt they had that on there. So that's the premise of it. Once you sell that land off, if let's say the federal land here in Michigan.
Yep.
Let's say the government sold it to the state of Michigan because it's in Michigan. And you're like, what's the big deal? Well, now it's state of Michigan land, not federal land. It's owned by the people of the state of Michigan, not by the entire United States.
Right.
Could you still come hunt it? Yeah, if the state of Michigan didn't sell it off.
Well, so that's the whole kind of the premise.
That's the whole premise.
It starts. It kind of diminishes the ownership.
Yeah.
It goes from everybody to a state.
Yep.
And then now you're putting it in the state's hands to see what they want to do with it.
And it could become private land of a company or...
And they do that in the state of Michigan.
Of an individual, yeah.
I know state of Michigan has sell-offs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll every couple months that you'll see, they'll have a list. You can go on and bid for land.
Yep.
You know, so why don't we just keep it all federal land and just keep it our land?
Yeah, let it roll.
But yeah, I saw those guys there. Saw the guy making the arrows and crossing. I tell you what, there was a cool arrow he made. It was totally fluorescent orange with fluorescent orange fletching.
Okay.
It's like...
You're not going to lose that in the woods.
I know, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, man, that's kind of nice.
Shoot that and you can go find it.
Right, exactly. So, but he's from Saginaw.
Okay.
So we might be talking to him a little bit more. Randy talked with him.
Okay.
But we might be talking more with him. But yeah, there was, man, anything and everything from traditional archery was there. And I'm telling you, I saw snakeskins.
Okay.
And I think you wrapped the bows with them.
I think so.
Maybe.
I think you're right on that.
Wool blankets, buckskin that you could wear, and that was one of the things that they had was, you could A to Z. I'm telling you, wool, quivers, something to wear. They had it all there.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it was nice. It was. I was there for an hour or two, and it was nice going there, walking through it, and seeing what was happening.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're bumping up on our second break here. We come back. You went somewhere else today, so we want to save that for.
That was the first part of Saturday night. We got to get to the second part of Saturday night.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 sections left. So
yes, we do.
All right. We're going to step outside, take our next break here, and we'll be back. We'll talk about the rest of Danny's Saturday night. We'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show. We just had a question pop in.
Yeah, we did.
That we just noticed. Kevin Hollenbeck was asking about goose jerky.
Okay, so as far as goose jerky, it can be good and it can be bad. Because when I went to this place for the meats and the packaging place, they were trying some goose jerky. They thought it was. There was like a mystery meat.
A mystery meat.
Kind of like the guy had brought it in, and they're like, yeah, it's pretty. This is goose.
Okay.
And so they said goose can be temperamental as to how you make it. So I would go with the trial and error method. Start out with a basic recipe and do it in a small batch to see if you like it, and then work up. Because they were like, yeah, he typically does really good stuff, this guy, whoever brought it in, but this goose batch just wasn't cutting it.
Okay.
It was dry. It wasn't.
It was dry. See, I would think I've always heard like goose and duck is greasy meat.
It was the casing wasn't sticking right. It was so I don't know the whole story behind it.
I wonder what he mixed it with.
Right, exactly. I don't know everything, but I would start out with a small batch and work your way up.
Yeah.
Like my recipe calls for 3 pounds.
Right.
I mean, that's a good small batch.
Yeah. That's a lot of goose meat. I mean, you get 2 big goose breasts out of it, so. I don't know exactly how much meat that is. I would say probably 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds-ish.
Okay.
So a couple geese.
A couple of geese, and then get you 3 pounds. Good way to start.
All right. So
there you go. But yeah, that was the beginning of my Saturday night.
Okay, so Saturday night, you rolled over to Kalamazoo, and I know that the boys from Backcountry Hunters and Anglers had a little get-together.
Yes, at the Arcadia Brewery.
How'd that go?
That place was busy.
From the pictures I saw, you guys had a lot of people there.
There was a lot of people there. It was quite the gathering. I walk in looking for Randy and notice Randy standing by to this tall, bald-headed guy.
Tall, bald-headed guy. Could that be a friend of ours?
Yes, it was, and I was shocked to see him, and it was pretty cool. It was like none other than Jerry Lambert. I was like, holy cow. Here I am in Kalamazoo, and Jerry Lambert shows up.
Well, that's over in his neck of the woods.
He is 20 minutes from Kalamazoo. So he came over, and he wanted to talk to a couple of the guys, Drew and Jason. And so he got to do that. So me and him, we got to sit down and talk, see how he's all doing. He is writing away his books. I was able to get some copies of his books, the Trophy Tales, Whitetail Trophies, so we can use it for a giveaway later on.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so. But no, there was, if you see by the picture, there was 30 people there.
Right on.
Mark Kenyon was there, and we all got together. They all said, hey, let's have a big picture. That was kind of pretty fun. Trying to get everybody in a very loud place.
Somebody said South Cox was there, too.
Yep, he was there.
Guy hunts a lot out west.
Yeah, but it was good. It was a good get-together. Got to talk. I ended up talking with Jerry most of the time. He did some talking. But yeah, and it was a nice place. It was kind of nice. The wife, I bought the wife. Actually, the wife ended up buying the beer.
Okay.
But the beer was called Cheap Date. So I bought her a Cheap Date. Yeah. So,
Deb, I'm sorry. You got to put up with this guy.
But it was funny. But this place was packed. It was amazingly packed. I couldn't find a parking spot. So I parked out in the boonies, which we thought was not a parking spot. But when we walked back out, there was just people parked everywhere. So okay, we weren't that bad.
This must be like a go-to place over there.
You know what?
Or was it because the event was going on?
No. Kalamazoo is known for their breweries, microbreweries. There was actually a mini bus, a short bus.
Okay. All right.
And before I did. It was doing a pub crawl. And I guess if you went on it and you got stamped and you got something at the end of it.
A hangover.
Well, that too. but no, Kalamazoo's known for that. But you know what? Young, old, they were bringing babies in there to sit down and have a little
shot of milk.
Food-wise, they're brisket, smoked foods. They had a little bit of fish. Not a big menu. More on the drinking side.
How was the event there? Did Backcountry Hunters and Anglers do anything special there?
No, it was just like a meet and greet to say hi and get together after their long day they had over at the expo. Kind of just they had the back room there.
Okay,
but there wasn't enough to that was not big enough of a back. The back room was about as big as this room.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, okay, that's good. They had one big table in there. I think there was 8 chairs around it, but
So the picture that you guys took, that was the size of the room.
no, the picture we took was outside of that room.
Okay.
In the big room.
Okay.
Because that's where we could fit.
The big room,
was the main dining room. And but no, they had a great turnout, and you know what? More power to those guys as they steamroll and get bigger, better. Talking with Jason a little bit, it seems like the chapter they have going is a boisterous chapter.
Okay.
He says they've got a lot of their own making phone calls, being loud.
Well, and there's things that do pop up here in Michigan that has to do with these land sell-offs. So, and it's also about getting access to certain pieces of land as well, and keeping that access open to hunters and anglers as well. So.
Right, exactly. So, you know what? Spent a little time with them, and then called it a night in anticipation of going to my next stop in Grand Rapids the next day.
Okay. So you were a Michigan traveler.
I was. It was kind of fun. Kind of tired, but,
yeah,
it's that season, right?
Right
Show
on.
season.
Yep, right on.
So next morning, got up, had some breakfast, headed north, 30 minutes to the Hunt and Time Expo.
Okay. You expoed it.
I expoed it. And for anybody that knows about this, it's the biggest West Side show. Ranks, I say it's the biggest hunting show. The ultimate fishing show is over there too. But that's more fishing than hunting.
Right.
So, but
we went to that last year. But do you think that show is as big or bigger than or smaller than the one that the Deer and Turkey Spectacular we go to in Lansing?
Okay, so if you put them all into comparison, I think it's number 2.
Which one?
I think the Deer and Turkey is probably... See that? Okay, so if I have a 1, 2, 3, Woods and Water in September is the biggest. 2 is Deer and Turkey, and 3 is the Hunt and Time Expo.
Okay.
That's how I'd rate them.
Okay.
Now, if you throw in fishing shows in that, the Ultimate down in Novi and the Ultimate back across there.
That's pretty big.
They throw those in there, but if we're talking mainly hunting, those are probably the 3 top in the state. There's one coming up here in February up at Birch Run. So
and then we got Outdoorama as well.
Oh yeah, Outdoorama. But yeah, no, this one, it was typical. Wall-to-wall people, shoulder to shoulder. And saw Dave there, Drop Tine Outfitters.
Dave Wilkins.
Saw him, asked him how business was doing. Doing okay, so that's good.
That's all good.
Yep. And then I walked around and I saw Nick Percy.
From Monster Food Plots?
From Killer Food Plots.
Or Killer Food Plots, that's
Killer
right.
Food
I'm
Plots.
sorry.
Said hi to him.
Who has Monster Bucks in his...
Exactly.
Killer Food Plots.
But yeah, talked to him a little bit. Told him I'd catch up with him at the other show. He was busy. And it was a busy show, so I'm not going to get in there. There was more... Remember when we went and we talked to the Trapper? Mm-hmm. That building was a lot more packed.
Okay.
With vendors.
Okay.
So I think the show had increased in size.
Okay.
So that kind of told me, as I was walking around the different rooms, that room is usually like the last room, and it was full.
Okay.
So that kind of showed me that the vendors were up. People numbers were up, I think. It looked good. And I talked to Dave, and he said Friday and Saturday were good.
Well, the weather was good, too.
Exactly. He said there was no blizzard. There wasn't anything to keep the people away. So, yeah, we walked around there. I ended up making a purchase. I almost made 2 purchases, but I held off on something.
Did you buy a UNJ ATV?
Oh, no.
Did you buy a UNJ boat?
And they had a nice boat there at Cabela's. It was a bow fishing boat. That's pretty nice. I almost bought an Outback hat, but I couldn't pull the trigger. But
why not?
I don't know. I like my baseball caps.
Yeah, I got mine over there.
I know you do, and I was thinking about that. And I started
use it fishing.
I got one for fishing too, and that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I could use this for fishing. But
Yeah.
then it was kangaroo, and I was thinking that could be awful hot in the summer, and so. But anyways, there's a company I've been watching, Outpost Feeders, for a few years now, and I stopped by and I talked with them a little bit, and I said, all right, I'm going to get one of these. Of course, I just can't buy one sometimes when they have a good enough deal for me, so I end up buying 2. But I did get one. Matter of fact.
So that's what that is.
Oh.
So we get to feed ourselves in the cabin
no.
tonight with
Right.
sausage, and then you bought a feeder.
Right, I did. And
for those of you watching on the live stream here, you going to break that out? So
I'm going to break this out, but this is, feel how heavy that is.
Oh, that's light. I could actually throw that like a football almost.
You could. And this holds, let's break it out, right, for the people. But yeah, Got my koozies.
All right.
But this company's in Muskegon, Michigan. Started out about 8 years ago.
Okay.
They were having an issue. They hunted up in the They were hunting mainly in the UP, and they were trying to get some feed back in there, and they wanted to haul in a 50-pound bag of feed or corn to the feeder, and they came up with this.
That holds 50 pounds?
This holds 20 pounds.
Okay.
And it holds 20 pounds. If you did a pound a day, that's 20 days worth of action during the days. It runs on, without trying to kill somebody here. Let me open this up.
As he tears it apart.
Right. Runs on 4 AA's.
Okay.
It has 4 timers. I'm going to try this in my backyard first.
Okay.
Because usually when I go to the UP, because we can bait there.
This is a broadcast feeder.
This is a broadcast feeder, as you see on the bottom there.
It's got the little spinner underneath.
Yep, got the little funnel that feeds it. And, but yeah, I picked this up right here. This is adjustable.
So you can hang it.
You can hang it, and it...
Is it child-proof?
It's Dan-proof right now. So take this top off. And you can adjust what size that is.
Adjust the length on it for how far you want it to hang. Gotcha.
Yep. And then inside, right here, comes with a longer cord and a metal disc.
Okay.
You know what the metal disc is for?
I'm going to say that's to keep the raccoons or birds from knocking off on the spinner.
No. You tie the end to the metal disc and you can throw this to get it up and over a branch.
Ah, okay.
One warning, as it says here on the directions, make sure when you're throwing this, you're not throwing it at somebody.
Right.
It will hurt. So you tie this.
And make sure you stand back out of the way as it comes across and swings back.
Exactly. So you throw this up over the branch, and then you just fill this up. You set the timer. You haul it up and tie it off, and set it and forget it.
All right.
So I asked about the battery life, and they said they've had pretty good battery life up to a year.
Okay.
So, but what I want this for is when I go up bow hunting, I usually leave for bow hunting, and I'm usually back for gun season probably within about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So my thought is I could set this up.
Let it run to about
almost
to the time you get back up.
Right, because I'm allowed to bait. And plus, one thing I'm kind of liking about this, I can put this, it's not on a tripod or anything like that, where the bears can knock it down.
I was going to say, make sure you get it high enough where the bears, and far enough away from the trunk of the tree that the bears can't get to it.
Right, exactly. That's
back when we could bait at our place years and years and years ago. The biggest problem we had with spinner broadcasters was either raccoons climbing up the poles and working their way over to the spinner and tipping the spinner pan and dumping all the bait out, or a bear doing the same thing. So we had to put cages around them to keep them from getting in there and tipping the spinner and emptying all the bait on the ground.
Exactly.
It's amazing how smart these animals will get. It's like, okay, they figure a way. It's like, okay, if I can reach my paw in there and get it, I can get this thing to give me more. You know?
I watched, I had a spinner feeder in my backyard. It was one of the lower ones, so I could actually get on a ladder and fill it. Right. But the bottom was low enough. It had a varmint cage on it, but I watched a doe stick its tongue in there and spin the spinner.
Right on.
You know, it thought about it enough, and it was like, it became self-serve. So
right.
But no, I decided to go with one of these to try it and see how they worked.
What'd that cost you?
Typically, they're $80. They were having a show special for $60.
Okay.
Or 2 for $100.
Okay.
So I got 2.
$50 a piece, right on.
Right. So, you know what? I'm going to give it a whirl in my backyard. So, you kind of mentioned it about raccoons, but I was thinking about squirrels. I don't. So it's hanging from the tree. I asked about this, and the squirrels might get down to about here. But as they get down to here,
there's nothing to grab a hold of.
There's nothing to grab, so they're going to slide right off.
Okay.
Same thing with the raccoons. And plus, I think it might get to swinging enough.
Right.
It might become fun to watch.
Yeah, I get a video camera put up on that and just it'd be something to see.
Right, exactly. So that was my purchase to try out in my backyard, give my deer some feed. I'm going to set one up probably tomorrow and give it a whirl.
All right. It'd be cool to see how that all works out for you.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I said, I got that 3-week period that I bow hunt and then I rifle hunt, but I can give them a little feed in the meantime. That way I can keep them in the area in case something happens. So, but yeah, then I decided to come home so we could do the podcast.
Well, I'm glad you came back.
Me too, because we had food at the other end.
See, you're much like the deer. I can bait you right back here into the cabin.
You darn right you could. So, but you know
That's
what? And this was I talked to the owner's son, and it was one of those things. Like I said, they were having troubles getting. They wanted to take some feed back to their spots because they were walking in, but they didn't want to hoof all the heavy stuff.
Right.
So they came up with this in their shop, and it's just taken off on them. I think he said they've been in operation now for 8 years, and it's just going gangbusters.
That's good. All plastic. Looks like it'll last in the weather. You don't have to worry about anything rusting on you. So
right. So and I do believe that's stainless steel
on the spinner.
On that spinner.
Right on.
So, and that's covered up pretty good. But yep. Other than that, it was another great time over at the Hunting Time Expo, and I think they had a good one.
Anything else there you saw that kind of caught your eye?
It was the typical stuff that
you see.
Actually, some caught Deb's eye. Since we're talking about meat and cheese, it was a granite square that you put in the freezer, and then you leave it in there for a few minutes, and then you pull that out, and then you can serve cheese and whatnot on that as a cold plate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was like a nice looking granite kind of. That was kind of cool. She liked that. I did see a nice side by side that would look good with UNJ stickers on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A nice John Deere. That looked nice. I did want to check out an outfitter in Kentucky. I'm hearing Kentucky's getting to be a hot spot to go for deer.
Go-to place?
Yeah. And one thing nice about that is you can go early and get them in velvet.
That's right. Yeah, bow season, definitely.
But other than that, Cabela's was there. They had their they had a boat there, an UTV 4-wheeler there. No, just typical everybody hawking their wares.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, and we got the other one coming up here in about 3 weeks, I believe.
Deer and Turkey?
Deer and Turkey in Lansing. That will
probably
be out.
about. So the weekend before that is going to be the Birch Run.
Okay.
And then the Deer and Turkey is 17, 18, I think.
Yep.
And then after that, that takes us to the end of the month, which would be Outdoor Rama.
Yeah.
And that's another big one. That's more of an outfitter one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's show season. If you're getting into thinking about getting out west or doing something this fall, now's the time to get out there and book it.
Absolutely.
So, no, but then I came back here to do our show, and here I am.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're bumping up on our last break here. Why don't we get that out of the way, come back, we'll wrap up the show and talk about a couple little things here that we got left.
Absolutely. All
right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
The 2015 Dream Season Decree is a deadly combination of speed and precision. It's built for the moments when time stands still. When the only thing that will break the silence is an arrow slicing a clean path to the kill zone. The bow of your dreams is a nightmare for big game. This is PSE's Decree. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back. This is the last segment of show 399. This will be our last show in the 300s. Next week will be show 400.
400 episodes. Okay, so, all right, I'm taking over the mic. Did you ever think you were going to get to this spot?
Didn't we kind of talk about this a little bit before the show started in a different context?
A little bit, but...
No, I didn't think we'd ever get to
10 years ago, actually be 10 years ago, on April 25th, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I know that number. It's kind of stuck in my head for a reason.
That was the first show.
It was. You had a young son, Mikey, which I thought about him today when I saw there was a company called Mikey's Outdoor Adventures, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, he had Mikey's game bag.
Right. And he said, "Hey, Dad, let's do a podcast." And you were there going, "Huh?"
Yeah, what's a podcast?
Exactly. And here we are, almost 10 years, 398
99.
Well,
3/4.
298 and 3/4 shows.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are sitting. I think I came back on board at show
275.
275. So
276, somewhere in there.
125 shows later, where we cruised through 300.
Mm-hmm.
We're zipping on to 400, which will be next week. And here you are, the godfather of podcasting, sitting across from me, and you're just wheeling away here. I think that's a testament to your will and your strength.
Well, we've been through a lot, man.
Oh, a little bit.
You know,
and when you explain the whole, it's fun to watch you explain it to somebody, or I explain it to somebody, because they just kind of have that. When you hit that, Mike had a tornado, auto accident, fire, in 3 months, they go, what? Yeah.
Yeah, kind of put a little anchor on us there for a while.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, I really didn't think we were going to get through. I mean, I knew I'd get through those bad times, but I never thought the show would pick up again. Until you came over one day and it's like, what do you think? Let's start again. And it's okay. You can say, yeah, we start again, but the true testament is the people who were there through all those bad times and give me encouragement. And then as soon as we started up a year and a half later after stopping, it's just like we hadn't missed a beat and our audience was still there.
The audience came back pretty good.
Yeah. So, thank all of y'all. Thank, everybody that's watching on the live stream. I just can't say enough about, you guys having
and like
patience to sit and listen to us.
Yep. A couple weeks ago, having some people say the words they do or sent you an email.
Yeah.
That the gentleman down south sent you.
Yeah, down from Arkansas.
Right.
Yep.
I think it's we're doing good, but you've kind of forged that way to go, but it'll only get better. It's a funny industry we work in.
It's a real fickle industry.
Okay, I was gonna say finicky.
Yeah, fickle, finicky. It's I don't know, for the people that don't work in the industry, in the outdoor industry. Maybe they don't understand a lot of things, but just like Scent Blocker, who came on board with us this year. They just, they saw what we were doing and they want to be a part of this digital outdoor world, and they're on that cutting edge.
Exactly. And that's a testament to them.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. You could have timed that one better. Right. But it's the way we're going in age. And, you're right. It's a digital thing. We're sitting here on a Sunday night. We're live broadcasting basically to the entire world of Facebook.
Yep.
And then tomorrow morning when the show goes out, it'll be live over the internet, iTunes, and everything else that we're a part of.
Right.
But it's amazing to see that and how that works. So no, I think knowing that this is 399.75 show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's been 400 is right around the corner, 7 days away or thereabouts. Whatever we do for that, maybe I'll let you spray me with a hose out back on your back porch or something.
I'm still wanting the polar dip.
Oh, dude, I do not want a polar dip. That's just no.
We'll make a red sickle out of you.
You know what? You talk about polar dipping, and I did the ice bucket challenge, and that was just a bucket on your head, and that totally took my breath away.
Yeah,
I cannot imagine jumping into Lake Michigan, in this case, just for the sole purpose of going.
We go right over here to Lake Fenton at the Moose Lodge. They're doing it this weekend.
Is that coming up this weekend?
It's this coming weekend.
And their chili cook-off?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to go over there.
If I get you over there, I'm putting you in the water.
No, that is not happening. I am telling you. I will chain myself to death. But, dude, jumping into ice-cold water for the purpose of
celebrating our
10
400.
feet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Call me in June. I'll jump into Lake Superior then, but at least I know I'm getting out into warm, not watching you go into cold water, run across ice and snow into a warming tent that is just totally not warm. That's just not happening.
Something to do.
But if we don't get out, if we can get out to the polar dip next week and maybe do some ice fishing out there, or chili cook-off or whatever we do.
We can go to camp next weekend, too.
We can go to camp next weekend.
We can do some ice fishing up there.
They got ice up there?
Yep, I just called today and found out.
Okay.
Yep, we could do a little fish fry up there. We could do a little coyote hunting up there. Yeah.
Can we do it from the comfort of the lodge?
No. The coyotes don't come inside.
No. Well, if we make a nice fire for them?
No, I don't think so.
Can we make a nice fire anyways?
We could do that. Yeah.
I see that fireplace up there, and it's like I seen it roaring the one time I was there. I was like, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, we can do a fire. We can do a little fire outside in the fire ring. There are lots of things we can do up north of camp.
Absolutely. I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of ice fishing.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's something we haven't done this year. It's getting cold again, and I starting to see people actually popping out on the ice a little here and there. So,
yeah, safe wise as opposed to.
Well, we had an ice flow this week. Somebody had to get rescued. A group of guys, I don't know if it was 10 or 14 or 15 people, something like that, had to be rescued off of Saginaw Bay. But they were out there, and the wind shifted or something.
Oh, you get a wind shift and it breaks off.
And away they went.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than watching your line become moving.
Yeah, floating off to Canada.
Hold on, this ain't good. But if we do that, I'm okay with that. We can go do some ice fishing. It would be kind of nice.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, we'll come up with something. We got a whole week to plan, so we got to do something for our 400th, and we've got 2 years approximately to plan for 500. And actually, if memory serves me correctly, the way I looked at the calendar, that would be at ATA 2019.
Do you know where that's at? Is that back in Indy or?
That's in Columbus, Ohio. That's in Mara's back door.
Uh-oh. That might be some fun.
So, Mara and Cody.
Be prepared?
Yeah.
Speaking of Mara and Cody, Cody is starting to ramp up his champion baits.
Absolutely.
He had a picture he took, I saw of, what's the name of the worms that he uses?
The little rubber worms.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. I'm not a fisherman.
Oh.
I'm a worm drowner, man. Come on.
I know. But he had a whole box of those things, and he's ramping up, and he's getting ready for spring here. And I bet you he's got the bass fishing itch.
Oh, I bet he does, too.
So.
Yeah. And his website will be up and running soon. We'll have a link to that on our site. He's got everything not quite ready to launch over there on the website.
Right.
But he's close.
And you know what? If you've been watching, if you see Up North Journal, and if you see our webpage, you see now we have a UNJ fishing page.
Yep.
Send us a photo of your fish, whatever it might be, ice fishing, whatever. We'll put it up on the site there, and we'll put it up on Facebook page that we got, UNJ Fishing. But yeah, 400, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
10 years and 400 shows later.
Yeah, it's a lot of time sitting behind a microphone.
It is, but it's been fun.
And that doesn't count like. Well, the Throwback Thursdays don't really count, but we did a lot of mini casts along the way. You start throwing those in there, who knows what the number is. But, 400 main shows, regular shows. And I think in the last year, at least, I don't think we've missed a weekend.
There's been very few.
So it's been a good run, and, I'm
unless
hoping,
we're dyingly sick.
Hopefully.
Which I was kind of worried about you this morning.
Dude, oh, man, it was rough. I'll tell you what. But, you kind of get up and plow through things, and, whether it be good or bad, that's the way you get to 400, So
you got to plow through it, man.
I'm just trying to think, approximately another 10 to 12 years, where we're going to, about 10 years, we'll be at show 1,000.
If we hit show 1,000, wow.
Be close to our retirements, close to us. Danny's plan and my plan is, once we retire, is we're going to get us a bait shop in the UP, and we're going to be set back drinking coffee, selling bait, and swapping stories somewhere up north.
That's the plan, and it's kind of funny because we kind of got it worked out because I'm a morning person, so I can handle the morning shift.
Yeah, and I can handle the late shift.
And you can handle the late shift.
Yeah.
It works out good. What more than having a bait store and just sitting back and, selling bait. So, I'm all for that.
It's good retirement, I think.
I think so. Hey, it'd be fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're rolling up here towards the end of the show. It's been awesome. It's been a great 9+ years.
399.
399. So we come back next week. Good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. Be show 400, and we'll see where we're at. We may be up north. We may be over at the Moose Lodge for the chili cook-off. Who knows? Maybe sitting here in the cabin. Don't know. We don't know, and as long as I make it back from Ohio this week, we're good. All right. Well, you enjoy your trip down there.
No comment.
That'll do it for us this week, folks. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.